Who is your real-life superhero? When my father-in-law started to ghost the family, I assumed he was having an affair. He was completely ignoring us, never had any money despite working all the time, and constantly lied about where he was. And for Bobby, this was extremely strange. He was the type of man to always give our grandkids money when he saw them, to pull them onto his knee and tell stories about his past. So him ignoring everyone made my husband and his family angry, like really angry. The kids started asking why Grandpa didn't love them anymore. My husband's sister Karen was the first one to suggest something was wrong with his mind. She was nonstop spamming links to assisted living facilities because their dad was losing it. Meanwhile, their brother Steve thought Bobby was depressed after retirement and suggested an intervention, but me and Mike, my husband, knew better. It was obvious that he had found some young girlfriend who was taking all his money and time. The breaking point came when Bobby missed his own grandson's high school graduation. That was my son, and I watched him scan the crowd looking for his grandfather. Bobby had promised he'd be there. He told Jake he wouldn't miss it for the world, but his seat stayed empty. I wasn't going to say anything, but Mike snapped. That night, he drove to Bobby's apartment ready for a confrontation. When he came back home, his face was red with anger, kept muttering about how his father was clearly lying about working. Apparently, the apartment was a dump. No food in the fridge, electricity shut off, complete squalor. Mike said Bobby had given him some story about picking up extra shifts but refused to say where. The whole family had a meeting without Bobby the next week. Everyone agreed something had to be done. Karen brought brochures from memory care facilities. Mike wanted to check Bobby's bank records to see if someone was scamming him. I sat there listening to them plan their father's future while he wasn't even in the room. Suddenly, my son walked in and interrupted us. "You're all idiots," he yelled, before taking out a photo his friend's mom had sent. There was Bobby in the background, mopping the floors of a grocery store at 2 a.m, minimum wage, overnight shifts, the kind of job that breaks your body. But that wasn't the worst part. My son Jake had done some digging. He talked to the night manager and found out Bobby had been working there for 2 years. 2 years. But he also had a day job at a warehouse loading trucks. The man was 73 years old and working 18-hour days. Mike immediately called the warehouse and pretended to be checking a reference. They confirmed Bobby worked there full time, said he was their most reliable employee, never missed a shift, but looked exhausted all the time. We sat in that living room trying to piece together why a retired man with a pension would need 2 jobs. Then Steve said something that still makes my hands shake. He brought up the time that Mike had gotten sick, really sick. The kind of sick where you miss a year of work and rack up 6 figures in medical bills even with insurance. We'd been drowning and then suddenly the bills stopped coming. We thought insurance had finally kicked in properly. Mike went white. He called the hospital billing department right there on speaker. After an hour of being transferred around, they finally told him the truth. The remaining balance of $127,000 had been paid in monthly installments, cash payments, made by Robert Mitchell, Bobby. The room went completely silent. Mike's hands were shaking. Karen started crying. Steve just stared at the floor. Here we'd been planning to put this man in a home while he was breaking his back to save Mike from medical bankruptcy. Mike tried calling Bobby, but he didn't answer. Full story on channel, link below.